Random House Audio presents The Pirates in An Adventure with Ahab by Gideon Defoe. Read for you by John Lee. To Sophie, who still has £250,000, of which I have not seen a single penny, even though this is the second entire book that I have dedicated to her. 1. I battled a ton of turtle. That one looks almost exactly like a whale. No, it doesn't. It looks like a pile of rags with an ant stood on them, but for some reason the ant only has 5 legs. It's more like a cutlass or a beautiful mermaid lady. It's a big seagull. It's a skull. The pirates were busy lying on their backs on the deck of the pirate boat, trying to decide what clouds looked like. Most days this enterprise would end up with the pirates having a brawl about whether a cloud would taste more like a marshmallow or a meringue if you could eat one. But today, before the pirates even had the chance to get their cutlasses out or pull angry faces at each other, there was a sudden crack, a shower of dust and splinters, and with a tremendous crash the boat's mast fell down on top of them. The mast completely flattened the pirate who liked to show off how much he knew about wine, whilst the pirate with a hook for a hand found himself engulfed in a billowing white sail, and he was soon chasing the other pirates about, pretending to be a ghost. There was such a commotion, none of the pirates even noticed the galley doors swing open and the pirate captain himself step out onto the deck. The pirate captain had taken to wearing a dashing maroon smoking jacket and a blousy white shirt that had most of the buttons undone to reveal the glossy hairs on his chest. His chest hairs were almost as well conditioned as the hairs in his luxuriant beard, which many of the crew felt to be one of the 7 wonders of the oceanic world. If the pirate crew had been asked to list the 7 wonders of the oceanic world in full, they would have confidently said, in ascending order, 1. The lighthouse at Pharos. 2. The Colossus of Rhodes. 3. Lulworth Cove. 4. Those jellyfish that light up. 5. Lobsters. 6. Girls in bikinis. 7. The pirate captain's fantastic beard. "What in blazes is going on, you oily wretches?" the pirate captain bellowed. The pirates all dusted themselves down, and the pirate with a hook for a hand sheepishly took off the sail and stopped doing ghost noises. "Sorry, Captain," said the pirate in green. "We were just discussing what the clouds looked like when the mast fell down again." The pirate captain stepped over the bits of broken mast and tangled rigging and squinted up at the cloud that the pirates were looking at. He clicked his tongue thoughtfully. Note: clouds that look like things tend to be fair-weather cumulus clouds, which have a lifetime of just 5 to 40 minutes. "It looks," he said, after a little deliberation, "like my stentorian nose with a bottle of grog next to it." The pirates all nodded and slapped their foreheads, because that was exactly what the cloud most looked like, and they could all see it now the pirate captain had pointed it out. "Listen, lads, looking at clouds is all well and good," said the captain sternly, "but some of us have important piratical work to do, so try and keep the noise down. Maybe tie a few knots or something quiet like that." And with a waggle of his eyebrows and a wave of his cutlass, the pirate captain swept back through the big oak doors to his office. As the doors slammed shut, one of them fell off its hinges, which slightly diminished the imperious effect he had been going for. Back in his office, the pirate captain sat at his desk and tried to get on with some work. As usual, he spent a few minutes arranging his quills and paperweights. After that, he tapped a pencil against his teeth. Then he tried balancing an ink pot on his nose. Finally, he got up and walked around the room a little bit, hoping he might get some inspiration from the various portraits of himself that he had hung up about the place. He'd had some new ones done since their last adventure. There was a black and white painting that showed him with his shirt off, tenderly cradling a baby. There was one of him emerging from an old boot alongside a giant kitten. and next to that was an actual wanted poster, which had a grainy picture of the pirate captain on it and a bounty of 10,000 doubloons. Note: in 1718, the governor of Virginia offered a reward of £100 for the capture of the notorious Blackbeard. That's about £10,769 in nowadays money, so it probably wouldn't have been worth the bother. The pirate captain stopped in front of a mirror and practiced pulling the same face that he was doing in the wanted poster until a tentative knock at the door sent him diving back behind his desk. He scratched his forehead to show how deep in thought he was and said, "Come in," in his best working voice. The pirate with a scarf poked his head around the door. "Hello, number 2, said the pirate captain. "Hello, pirate captain," said the pirate with a scarf, who for some reason was carrying the boat's steering wheel. "I was hoping I could have a word." "Of course." The pirate captain waved for him to take a seat. "Actually, I'm glad you're here. You can help me with this work I'm doing." He looked at his second-in-command seriously. "I'm making a list of when it's acceptable for a pirate to cry." "That sounds very important, Captain," said the pirate with a scarf, fiddling anxiously with his eye patch. He had a delicate topic he wanted to broach, and you never could tell with the captain if he might not fly into one of his terrible rages, because he prided himself on being unpredictable, like the ocean. "So far I've got 1. When holding a seagull covered in oil. 2. When singing a shanty that reminds him of orphans. 3. When confronted by the unremitting loneliness of the human condition. 4. Chops. I've just written the word chops. Not really sure where I was going with that one. Any ideas?" "It's a very good list, Captain," said the pirate with a scarf, wondering why the last few zeros on the captain's wanted poster were in a different colour ink from the others. "But there's something a few of the other pirates wanted me to ask you about." "Oh dear," said the pirate captain, noticing the worried look on the scarf-wearing pirate's otherwise rugged face. "Nothing relationship-based, I hope? You know how I'm not very good with emotional issues." The captain paused and looked out of the porthole. "I think the problem is I'm just not very interested in them." "No, Captain, nothing like that." "Well then, fire away." "It's the boats, Captain. I don't know if you've noticed, and it would be fair enough if you hadn't, what with you being so busy making lists and all, but, the scarf-wearing pirate tried to think of the most tactful way to put it. "She's in a bit of a state." The pirate captain looked thoughtfully at the fraying wooden beams and the big patches of mould on the ceiling. "Oh, I think state is a bit harsh. Full of character is probably the phrase you're after." "That's the 3rd time this week the master's fallen down, Captain." "Good thing, too. Keeps the lads on their toes." "It's not just the mast, Captain," the scarf-wearing pirate persisted. "The cannons don't work properly. Several of the pirates have been getting nasty splinters from the deck being so rotten. There's tar all over the place. And this," he held up the boat's wheel and waggled it about, "just came clean off in my hands." Note: the ship's wheel first replaced the tiller in 1705. "Ah!" The pirate captain stroked his beard. "I suppose we need that for the
"Steering, sir. It moves the rudder."
Of course, the rudder. I knew that. The rudder's the one with the portholes, isn't it?"
"That's the forecastle, Captain."
"Yes, the forecastle. Anyhow, pass it over here." The captain took the wheel, gave his trusty number 2 a reassuring wink, strode over to the back of his office and hung it on a spare nail that was sticking out from the wall. "Paint a few numbers round the edge. It's got the makings of a nice dartboard, don't you think? Problem solved." Before the pirate captain had time to congratulate himself on this clever idea, the steering wheel thudded onto the carpet, taking the nail and a piece of the boat's wall with it. A spray of seawater jetted into the captain's office and knocked an astrolabe off his mantelpiece. The pirate captain frowned. "Look at that. It's made a little hole," he said. but without missing a beat.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?